All right, so you are thinking about launching your book online. You're not really sure about the right steps to get that going. So I just thought I would lean on someone who's been in this industry for quite a while and has helped out numerous people in launching their book. So we're going to talk about how to launch a book online, self-publishing a book here in 2020. So make sure you stay tuned to today's video. What's happening? Is Dale here at Self Publishing with Dale, and I am just tickled to death that you took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little bit of time with me, and we're going to be talking about how to launch a book online. And today's guest probably needs no introduction, but I'm still going to do it anyways because this is actually makes 4 times he's been on this channel. In fact, his name's Rob Archangel, good personal friend of mine. He's actually the founder of Archangel Ink, and this is the exclusive sponsor of Self Publishing with Dale, and the folks responsible for assisting the production and safe launch of Amazon Keywords for Books. If you haven't picked that up yet, please go on over to dalelinks.com/keywordsbook. You're going to find out why I love these guys so much. Archangel Ink is your partner in leveraging your credibility and expertise into self-publishing success. They combine an innovative fusion of traditional publishing strategies with the ease, speed, and adaptability of self-publishing. So I just felt like, man, it's high time we brought this guy back to the show. So now we're going to move on over to the interview screen. Welcome to the show, Rob Archangel. How you doing, Rob?
I am great, Dale. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here. And just so you know, I think you might actually be eligible for the Self-Publishing with Dale Gold Jacket, because
Oh,
doesn't this make
yes, I
4
love it.
times for you?
I think it does. Is this like the Masters, the green jacket at Augusta?
Yes, exactly. That's what it is.
Love it.
So
Love
I
it.
just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that is watching live right now. Rob and I will be taking some time with you directly afterwards to do a question answer session. I do have quite a few questions loaded up here with Rob, and just so you know, Rob is my boy. All right, everybody. Yes, he is my boy. But in the same instance, if I don't like a service, most likely I won't. First of all, A, use them, B, endorse them, or C, use them as a sponsor. So there's a good reason why he's on this channel, and there's a good reason why I've promoted them so heavily. And I actually, unlike other sponsorships, I ended up courting you guys before you courted me.
Yep, that's true. It was a great offer. I was very happy to be a part of it. I know that you have a really active and engaged audience, and it's my pleasure to share a little bit about what we're doing. And hopefully, we can talk about some things that we offer, and maybe offer things of value to the folks out there.
Excellent. Fantastic. By the way, folks, do me a favor. If you're watching this right now, you're going to look up youtube.com/Archangel Ink. And it's spelled like Archangel, but it's pronounced Archangel. So you're going to go to youtube.com/Archangel Ink and subscribe to this guy. He goes and shows a weekly broadcast with him and Jordan where they talk about the business of self-publishing. And these guys are getting ready to crack 1,000 subscribers here relatively soon, so you might as well get a part of the first 1,000 sub club. So, all right, Rob, let's dial it back here for just a second. Give us a
Yes.
bit of background and tell us who you are and what happened that brought you into the whole wild business of self-publishing anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I have been, Archangel Ink has been around, I would say about 8+ years. Hard to say exactly. I have to find the specific
Wow.
start date. Yeah, but we've been at this for a little while. I started with another author, an individual who had his own online following. He wrote in the health and fitness and exercise genre, and he had a pretty engaged blog and audience, and he was selling books only on his own website. So he was self-publishing in a way, but not through any wider channels. He was doing reasonably well, and he said, "Hey, if you can help me grow the channel, or not the channel, help me grow the site, help me grow my readership, I'll give you a cut of whatever you can make." So brainstormed a little bit, and I said, "Hey, have you thought about getting onto Amazon Kindle to at that time create space, print on demand books, to Audible audiobooks and so forth?" And he said, "No, but let's figure it out. Do whatever it takes, figure it out, and then we'll see how it goes." So I did. We started out, researched as much as I could, bootstrapped the all of the design or the production element, I would say,
Yeah.
of the formatting and so forth. And we put his books up there, and lo and behold, they did really well. So there are advantages. Obviously, we've talked about them before with having your books on Amazon versus on your own website. People have that brand recognition with Amazon. There's a much wider audience. There's a perception of safety and security versus putting a credit card onto some random person's website and so forth. So um, and plus you have the review functionality and all of that. So all of that went over, I would say, really well. And so we kind of just jumped right in and made all of his books available. I think at that point there were probably a dozen or 14 or so different titles that we had listed at one point. And um, from there, we realized that this was a valuable service actually for other authors who had their own platform and maybe who had their websites and were selling only on their own websites, but wanted to get into this larger Amazon market. Uh, Over time, we went on to develop kind of different paths. He's on his own, working on his own projects. I've taken over, and I'm the lead behind Archangel Ink. And in so doing, I've also brought on other people who are really dedicated to their craft, who know exactly what they're doing, who are top-notch editors, top-notch designers, top-notch audiobook narrators and producers, and so forth. And so, the goal here is to put all of those services under one umbrella, so that if you have a self-publishing need, we're there to provide it. At the same time, allowing you to keep the rights to your book and kind of set the tone and set the direction for how this production is going. So hopefully, we bring kind of the best of the traditional publishing experience, in terms of being all in one and very high quality, but with that personalization and the retention of rights for clients out there.
Nice, man. That's quite a bit of a background, and I guess I never realized that you guys were in business for so long.
Yeah,
That's nuts. Is it
yeah.
dizzying to look back on something like that?
Say, sorry, I missed that question.
Is it dizzying to look back on that?
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. It's kind of crazy thinking about being involved as long as we have, but I would say overall it's been a really positive journey. I mean, it gives me a chance to work with really high quality team members, people who
Yeah.
love what they do, and then also people who are passionate about sharing their stories. Who have something that they want to say and put out to the world. So yeah, it is a little bit dizzying, I suppose, but invigorating in an invigorating way, hopefully.
If you were to guess, how many people have you guys worked with over these past 8 years?
Overall, in various different aspects of production,
Yeah.
hundreds, 500, 600, 800, maybe. Yeah,
Wow. Oh
many.
my
We've done
gosh.
lots and lots of whole projects, and then also parts of projects, book designs, audiobooks, and so forth.
So I could see why you guys were able to handle me so well. You probably were like, "Oh, what a diva! We've handled your kind before."
We've seen this, no problem.
So let's go ahead into the more serious topic that we're going to be covering today, and how
Yeah.
to launch a book online. First of all, tell me, what is a book launch, and why is it so important?
Yeah, so a book launch is really just making your book available, setting up how you make your book commercially accessible for your audience. The main reason that it's important is because starting off on a strong footing can really help during the lifetime of the book. So if you can get a number of elements right, if you can launch it successfully, have everything kind of dialed in place in terms of production and so forth, then you give your book the best chance of success. Now, we'd like to say that we don't make any guarantees for people. The audience will respond how they respond. The market really determines things, and sometimes it's hard to predict. But everything that we do is geared toward making sure that the project it has the best chance of success as possible. And the book launch is um, getting things again just lined up in such a way that you're able to ideally reach that audience in an effective way, speak their language, and cast a great first impression. So uh, that quality carries through for the duration.
Gotcha. Very good. Um, what are the best first steps
Yeah,
before you do the book launch? Because obviously, book launch is so much more than just pressing the publish button, right? We don't just want to hit the publish button and be like, okay, we're done.
right. Yeah, so there are a number of different things. I would say the first thing is make sure you have a really good book, and ideally you've thought about whether there's a market need for it. So it's going to be easier to launch a book for which there is an active audience and people engaged with that kind of information already, than something where you're trying to bootstrap an audience. So thinking about that at the writing stage is going to be important. The second part of that is again making it really high quality, having good content, making sure that it's edited well and that it's designed and produced in an attractive package. So you might have the strongest book in the world, but if your formatting is kind of off and off-putting, or if your cover design is not really engaging and kind of turns off the active audience that you have, then then you're really making it more difficult for yourself to launch effectively. Um, Going forward just a little bit, I will mention a book launch checklist that we put together, and you can find that. It's totally free. It's a PDF download. It's archangelink.com/resources. There are a number of free downloads available there, but under the marketing tab, I believe, or the marketing section, is this book launch checklist. But we outline a handful of different steps. One of the things, which I know you participated in, is trying to generate some early reviews. So having an advanced readership team, having advanced reader copies made available to people who are part of your followership already, or who are kind of just in your demographic. So have them on early, and they will ideally, offer good, constructive, hopefully very positive feedback, so that by the time people land on your page, on your Amazon page, assuming that's where you're launching, that it has that social proof, that it has that prestige of, okay, somebody's read it already. At least one or a handful of people have said this is worth taking a chance on. Maybe I'm not familiar with the author. Maybe I haven't. I'm not certain about purchasing it, but yeah, if these other real people are saying good things about it, that's going to help. The other thing, and I'll just backtrack a little bit, when it comes to the Amazon page, and this is again part of the launch, because ideally that is where, or in many cases, that's where you're going to find people. You want to have a number of different steps lined up. The first is going to be a good title. So a title that's going to speak to your audience and let them know kind of what to expect from the book. And you want to both attract your fans and the people who are going to engage with it, as well as kind of push away people who aren't, because that matters to Amazon as well. If you have deceptive titling and everybody clicks onto it, clicks off of it, that's like email bounce backs. You don't necessarily want that. No. So you want to really speak to that audience in the language that they speak in, and hopefully then bring them further along that sales process. Another aspect of that is going to be a good cover. So again, it doesn't have to be the best cover in the world. Hopefully something that's going to look good, but you want to show that you're professional and that you have a bit of thought and care and attention put into the book, because it shows the readers that you care about them and that you're interested in creating a good and positive experience. And then following that is going to be the description. So making sure you get your sales copy right. You're not necessarily describing the book so much as telling people what the value proposition is. And there are lots of information. I know, Dale, you have a ton of great information about how to do that. So just making sure all of that's in place. And then finally, there's the review element. So I would say on platform, wherever you're selling it, getting all of those elements lined up as best you can is an important first step for the launch, and generating some buzz, so that when you actually get people over to your page, that they are going to fall in love with it and say, yeah, this is great. This is exactly what I need. Let's take the plunge and forge on ahead.
Nice. Excellent. Very good. Now it's time for us to transition to the very next step, because obviously we're going to be building this book launch. It's not enough that we've done those first steps for pre-launch. Now we have to build what I like to call the hype. We got to get the hype train rolling. Right. So how can an author build hype around a book launch? I want to think about someone who has an audience, but we also need to address a vast majority of authors out there that are usually starting into the business that don't have an audience. So let's start it out with an audience. What are the best steps to build hype with an audience, and then without one?
Yeah, and they're going to overlap a little bit, I would say. Okay. But one of the things that we're big advocates of is, I would say, kind of drip feeding information about the book. It's similar to what I know you had a recent video about book awards. When you're sharing successes or sharing elements of your journey. Hey, I just got the manuscript back from my editor. Ready for the next pass and to move it forward. I know recently we have a book cover design that's we're working on with you, sharing that on social media or elsewhere, anything anywhere that you have some sort of engagement, even if it's not your own site, but other sites, that can be really helpful too. It gets people interested. Hey, that cover, or this handful of covers, they look really good. I wonder what this author's about. I wonder what this book is going to be about.
Yep.
Just kind of drip feeding that information without being too salesy. It
Yep.
can be kind of hard to have a create your book in silence, put it out there, and then say, hey, everybody, now I'm going to twist your arm and ask you for a sale. Instead, if you expose
Yep.
them to it little by little in a, again, non-salesy, but just sort of excited and sharing way, it can naturally start to attract the people who are going to be interested in that material. So I would say that's an important part of it.
Hmm.
Um, if you don't have an audience yet, then think about whether it makes sense to start building one. So,
Yep.
if this is a one and done book, maybe you don't necessarily have to prepare for, the next versions of it, but it may still be in your best interest to have an email list. What's your goal? What is the reason that you're putting this project together? Is it just a passion project that, hey, I had this story in my head, I want to put it out there and we'll see what happens? Or is it, hey, I have a business and I'm trying to enhance my business with this book? Okay, those different strategies or different goals can speak to how you utilize it. So making sure that again, if it makes sense to have an email list, and we're a big fan of email lists in general, have that in place. If you don't have a website already, but you see that as part of your future, start working on that. Get your infrastructure right as best you can, so that when people find you, they have other ways to engage with you and to know, like, and trust you a little bit more. I know I personally, when I find a new author or a book, I'll often just Google their name, see what else is out there, see what people are saying about it, see if they have a website, see if they have a social media presence, and that can be an effective way um, to get to know them and make that buying decision further on down the road. So if you don't have an audience, now might be a good time to start doing that while you're in that pre-launch phase and while you're getting ready. Second, okay, so if you, let's say you have it out, you've tried to build that up a little bit, not maybe all the way there yet,
Yeah.
but you do want to kind of engage and make the best of your launch. Again, making sure that all the pre-production is in place, that you have a good book, good cover, good sales copy, et cetera. That's going to be very helpful. But then also, we've outlined a process for finding advanced reviews. Honest, authentic, organic reviews from people who are interested in similar books, and we've done a couple of videos on our live stream about that. We've got a blog post about it. It's kind of a brute force approach, but when you're starting out, you have lots of elbow grease, and sweat equity to put into it. That
Hmm.
might be a really good option, because you want people to be engaged, you want people to find it, and the ripple effect of having uh, audience members, people who are not necessarily already in your circle, but who have found you, that can start to reach out a little bit wider and increase your footprint and make sure that you're able to connect with more and more readers over time. It's exciting. It's exciting when people are doing good things and are getting positive reports from others. And so if you position yourself to be a winner and to be successful and to be fun and engaging and all of that, and get people on board, that can help to expand your reach beyond anything that you're able to build independently on your own without the help of that audience.
Nice, excellent, man. You're dropping some serious 411. Hopefully, everybody's picking up on it here. So let's go ahead. Here's what I'm gonna do is, let's say it's launch day. Oh, it just happens to be launch day here. So you officially launched the book. What is going to be the thing that someone like me or anybody else that's launching the book, what should they be doing right as soon as it goes out the gate?
Yeah. So, for example, what you're doing right now, which is letting people know about the material. Don't be afraid. Don't, look, exactly. Don't be afraid to tell people what you've done. And again, if you put something together that you're really passionate about, that you're exciting, that has value, you believe in it, it's easier to talk about it. And again, you don't have to. you don't have to feel bad about it. You can obviously have some discretion about how you make that ask, but do something exactly like this to create some buzz. I know you had, for example, your advanced review copy team. You mentioned that on previous videos. That's a really good idea. That's starting to generate that buzz. I know you've already got a handful of reviews on your Amazon page, so that on launch day you've got people offering that social proof on your behalf, so that when the next person finds it, they're like, hey, this book is really good. Maybe I've gotten a handful of sales. Maybe I'm already at the top of my category, if you've chosen your categories wisely and are able to really compete and show up strongly in the ranks there.
Yep.
All of that can be really helpful in making sure that the launch is going to be successful. I would say going forward, continuing to mention, continuing to drip feed information about it. And it can be, even things as simple as, hey, was really excited to talk about this on my previous, on this most recent live stream, or, if you have any sales figures that you want to share, or any ad campaigns that are working really effectively, give people a kind of behind the scenes look at it. And it's a way of reminding them, hey, this book is out there. If you haven't bought yet, you might want to. But at the same time, it is still making that ask. It's getting out in front of the crowd and reminding people, hey, there's this really good thing that I've just created, I'm really proud of, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Another aspect to it, I would say, and you've talked about this quite a bit, is if you have the budget for it, look into paid advertising. You can start out low and slow and kind of figure your way out. There is a learning curve to it. It's not going to turn you into a millionaire overnight in most
What?
cases.
It doesn't?
Believe it or not, it probably won't. But it is. It could be a good way to kind of continue that momentum, go forward. You. One of the things I would say I like about Amazon recently is they've really started to gear the algorithm and their promotion of things to books that have longstanding value, that aren't just flashes in a pan that get a bunch of sales on one day, which can be jerry rigged and then get forgotten about. They'll do things like preferentially weight books that have more reviews, but then also recent reviews, to show that it has continuing value. It's not, again, you have one big thrust in the beginning of launch day, and then people forget about it, a month later. If it's much better if they're writing, two reviews this week, one review next week, another review the week after that, and so forth. So I would say, all of that is really helpful. The advertising campaign can be effective toward that. One other thing that I'll mention, and this is, again, something that you've incorporated into this particular book, and I think in all of your books, and recommend, and that is make the ask for reviews when it comes to your book. We're talking about relevancy of reviews and weighting them and all of that. When you remind people at the end of the book, hey, I hope you enjoyed this book. It'd mean the world to me if you left an honest review. It really helps me to learn and grow as a creator, and to reach other people. So please just take a moment and offer a review, on Amazon or the platform of your choice, or so forth. So all of those things can help going forward to carry that launch momentum and maximize the opportunity that your book affords.
Yeah, these are great tips. It's so funny. You're answering them so well that the very next question, you already kind of blazed through it, but that's okay, because now I want to kind of maybe just rephrase this in a way. What do you see a lot of authors doing wrong in a post-launch sequence? So they've launched their book. Let's say it's another week, maybe a month, maybe even 3 months, or even up to a year post-launch. What's one or maybe three mistakes that you've seen some authors do?
I would say the biggest mistake is the kind of set it and forget it approach, where somebody will put the book out and they'll say, hey, I did all that work and it's great. Now everybody come find me. I'm done. My work is done here. And the reality is that unfortunately doesn't work, because there's going to be the next author in your genre who's out there, in front of their audience every day, who's running different campaigns, experimenting with different things, who's continuing to promote it, continuing to show up on podcasts and other guest appearances and so forth, who if you're not doing all of that, well, that person's going to have that competitive advantage over you. So I would say the biggest thing that people do mistakenly after launch is not continue to promote it, not caretake it, not nurture it along like the wonderful creation that it is.
Yeah, it's so funny. I think you bring up a good point. Set and forget brings to mind. You remember Ron Popeil? He used to like have all the different like inventions, like the pocket ashtray and things like that.
Yes.
I don't think pocket ashtray was one, but you get the idea. But I mean, it's unfortunately there's no Ron Popeil publishing. There's no publishing this book out, set and forget. And that's hopefully everybody can kind of understand that. In fact, actually, the local biker game's getting all revved up right now. They're trying to let everybody know here in Columbus, Ohio.
That's
There's
right.
no set and forget publishing here, folks. As an insider in the launch of the Amazon Keywords for Books, man, you got to see everything on the inside. What were some of the things you and your team helped behind the scenes? By the way, folks, I told him carte blanche. He could share anything he wanted to and have no repercussions.
Yep. No. So your launch was fun, and it was. We came up with a fairly standard, not standard, but one of a template, I would say, for the interior design. We ended up helping on the digital as well as the print editions. With the interior design, you came back and you said, "Hey, this is kind of interesting, but I had these other ideas, right? I was, here are a couple of other examples of books. Maybe there are ways to incorporate, kind of this empty space and maybe use some other graphics and images and just kind of be fun and creative with it." And so there was a little bit of back and forth and with me and the designer on my end and Dale and kind of tossing some ideas and recommendations and so forth. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, how does this look? But eventually we settled on something that I think came out really really well, and so that was a lot of fun. I would say the other aspect of it too was the digital edition. I know you had gotten another provider to kind of help on some of that, and ran into a couple of issues toward the tail end. So we're happy to provide those files, and then I know that you're working with Story Origin. Speaking of the advanced review team and putting those copies out there, you said, hey Rob, we need a sample. Is there any chance that you can put together a sample, maybe about 10% of the book, just to give people a sense of what it's about?
Yep.
And we said, okay, cool, no problem. Got that rendered and in the digital PDF edition, the Mobi and the EPUB.
Yep.
So cross-platform, available for however you like to experience your digital books. And then we sent the books over, and you're like, Rob, we've got another issue. There's a file limit size. So part of the book incorporates part of it is that your book incorporates a lot of high resolution screenshots. So there's demonstrations of what happens when you're doing this keyword research. And for whatever reason, the file just wouldn't render down a little bit lower. We're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Eventually, we were able to kind of right, exactly. So that's a good example. So eventually, we tried to re-render it a few different ways. Still wasn't quite meeting the file size limits. I don't know. My designer, he was great. He did some additional research, figured something out, and was able to get it down to the file size that we want. The nice thing too about getting that file size down for folks who are interested in ebook publishing or who haven't experienced this yet, but Kindle actually charges you based on file size. So, if you can get your file size down a little bit, you have lower delivery costs. And so more of the sales price that your customer pays actually goes to you in royalties. So, we're very happy to ultimately be able to get that. But yeah, it was a little stressful. I know you were trying to get that out there. We had, a launch date in mind and all of that, but it ended up working out well.
Yeah, you really hung in there. It was like almost like when I would come in for a request. It was I was real tentative. I was like, I need 7 megabytes, and you're like, really, dude? But he was so cool about it. Yeah, it's hey, it's funny because I mean, my last major release was in late 2016. I mean, I've had publications since then, but no major launch of this magnitude. So using Story Origin was kind of new to me. Building an ARC team by way of Story Origin instead of through my newsletter was a little different. And see, there was a reason why I used Story Origin, and I'm sure I can probably get that in another video. But it was a fun process, and at least I got you in touch. Christy Lynn just popping in there saying, hi, guys. We got to make sure we acknowledge you're back here, part of the AI team. So,
Absolutely.
All right. So tell me, how does Archangel Ink help most authors? What are some of the things that you guys do, and what's your big specialty, would you say?
Yeah, I would say the thing that we do most often are the sort of full service packages. So somebody comes to us and they've got a manuscript in hand. They're like, hey, I'd like to make it available for customers. I'd like to make it, high quality and professional. I don't really know the process. What can I do? And so we'll take it really from there. Multiple rounds of high level professional editing. We'll go through the design process, proofreading from a different editor on the team. Will The full service package includes a website, just a basic website to launch and announce your book to the world. We offer launch assistance and coaching, and I'm involved on that end. So if anybody ended up working on a project, I'd be the one kind of helping and brainstorming, talking about some of these things that you and I are talking about tonight, Dale, and just kind of dialing everything in as much as possible. But our goal again is really to give the book the best chance of success that it can.
Mhm.
You've put a lot of time and energy, if you're an author, into creating something, and we want to be your backup singers. We're not overwhelming your voice. You're still the lead singer, but we're your backup, just making you sound as good as possible.
Nice. I love how you put that. And to his credit, he's very humble on some of the things, and something I want to kind of add to everybody. Obviously, Rob, just point right below your head. There's the website. You guys can go there, or you can go visit through dalelinks.com/Archangel Ink. That's my affiliate link, obviously. But let me just recommend that their cover services are phenomenal. In fact, if you're watching this inside the live video or on the replay, let me know if you saw the community tab that we had posted here on YouTube of those 10 covers. Oh my gosh. I order one cover, but they deliver 10 so we can make it as difficult as possible. So I have to it's not difficult in a bad way. You guys have delivered so much value that you give me such an array of choices, but it's really cool because it has helped in building some hype of this upcoming short reads publication about perma-free books.
Yep.
So yeah, you guys are stellar with your cover design, interior design, second to none. In fact, normally, I think you guys kind of gave me a little bit of preferential treatment on the first book, but on the perma-free book, I said, look, I'm going to step back. I'm going to let you guys take the reins. I was like, you guys do the perma-free book how you like. And the nice thing is I got to actually ride and feel what the Archangel Ink experience really truly is. And, because it's not about micromanaging you guys. It's about allowing you guys the freedom to creatively express yourselves within the vision that the author casts for you. And so I can't wait to reveal what the perma-free book looks like, because you guys did a fantastic job. It was so cool because you married a little bit of the elements of book one inside the Amazon Self-Publisher series
Right.
into something that's a little bit more no bleed level. And it was nice. I really liked it. So rather than gushing about that, why don't we just switch over? I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, man.
Okay.
You and I both know there are a ton of done-for-you services out there.
Sure.
What makes Archangel Ink different from these other services?
Well, I would say the level of attention to detail and care. We're fortunate to not have to work with dozens or hundreds of projects every month. So we design our packages in such a way that we can kind of handhold and guide our clients through the process, because we know that, especially if this is your first time, it's exciting, it's fun, but you have a ton of questions. You don't know what you don't know, and you might have things come up in the 11th hour or the second or fourth hour, as you're coming along and experiencing this publishing process, that you're like, hey, why should I publish on Ingram Spark? What are the pros and cons? Should I make it available? Should I only do Amazon? What sort of is a hardcover edition going to be worthwhile? What trim size should I use? Is there any difference between white and cream paper? I mean, lots of little things like that, but then also bigger things like, hey, should I start an email list? How do I do that? What sort of content should I put out there? Do I need to set up a social media account? Should I set up a Facebook fan page? All things like that. We try and be there for you, and know exactly kind of where you're coming from, help you clarify what your goals are and what your vision is for the book, what the best case scenario, let's say, for this particular book is, today, tomorrow, in 6 months, in a year, and work toward that. Start building that infrastructure in place. Rome wasn't built in a day, but if you have an architect who's kind of overseen the construction of things before, then hopefully you can profit and capitalize off of that experience. Because some of that information you can go on to really good community boards, places like self-publishing books, on Facebook, and YouTube channels and so forth. There are lots of community resources, but sometimes it can be a little difficult to sort out the wheat from the chaff. You can get contradictory information, different recommendations, and you're like, I don't know, I don't know what to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Our goal, having published dozens, hundreds of projects and been involved in several hundred others, is, hey, we kind of have been through the ropes a little bit. We don't know everything, but we know a fair bit, and we're happy to share that experience and give you our best recommendations. And if you're not certain about it, or if we're not certain, these are the considerations that we would have, and then let you make a more informed choice about the direction that you want to take yourself. So I would say all of that, coupled with what I hope, humbly, is very good quality production. We really focus on quality over quantity. We're not trying to churn out a ton of different projects every month, but something, things that we feel really excited about, we really are proud of, and we want the author to be proud of. Yeah. So try and create that, publishing house level of production and design and quality, while at the same time having that kind of concierge experience of, hey, I've never been through this process before. I'd love your help, and we're here to give it to you.
Yeah, this is something everybody take in consideration. You're probably going to run into some done-for-you services that it seems almost like a factory conveyor belt type situation where it's like boom, 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 boom. Whereas when I ran into with Archangel Ink, initially going into this, I kind of thought like, come on in, and they would just take over. But there was actually people in the queue ahead of me, and there was no skipping in line. I was like, don't you know who I am? But I didn't have to pull any of that, all joking aside. The nice thing is, though, they took care of those clients and were able to handle mine in a timely fashion, still in a realistic fashion. So, hey, we're going to go to a live Q&A here in just a moment. But before we do that, Rob, how can viewers get a hold of you?
ArchangelInk.com is the best way to reach us. We've got a Facebook page, and we've got a YouTube channel, as you mentioned. Thank you for plugging it. And I'll mention youtube.com/Archangel Ink, and that's Archangel with a CH and Ink with a K, not incorporated, but like pen and ink, because we're so clever and we deal with writing. But Archangel Ink on Facebook and on YouTube, as well as ArchangelInk.com.
Awesome, very good. Okay, so there's some people watching. All right, I'm gonna.
Oh, good.
Well, let's see if we can goose this audience here, because we were up to about 34 at one point or another, but we dropped down to about 24. So I've got a print copy right now available with Amazon Keywords for Books. If anybody's got a copy already, be it ebook or print book, say so inside the comments and let me know. And I want to know who would like to have a copy of this, an autographed one sent off in the mail. Let me know inside the comments here. And if somebody wants it, we'll go ahead and we'll do a little fun contest. That's how it sound okay, Rob?
Yes, that sounds great.
I'm feeling generous. Sorry, Rob. I sent it directly from Amazon, so you're not getting the autographed copy. I know you're.
Gosh, dang it, Dale.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
You were gonna frame it in the background. So, all right. So I'm gonna scroll on through here, and I want to give a couple shout outs to some people who are here and showed up a little early. Mojo Seed Like, great to see you, Mojo. Drama Queen said, love the thumbnail. Yeah, I had some fun with that one. I wanted to get the you with on a turtle. You on a turtle was the best. I was like,
that's a good one.
It just couldn't. It just didn't work, unfortunately. Yeah. Pip Squeaky says, was just about to go to bed and sleep can wait. Awesome. Very glad you joined us here, Pip Squeaky. Nairi Squires, what's going on? Melanie Pugh Thorpe, great to see you, Melanie. All right, so I'm going to try to find the questions here, folks, and please load them up inside the chat while we have Rob here on the air. You got someone here who has nearly a decade of experience in this business. You might want to pick his brain. Millie Comics, I thought I already subscribed. This is such a great content. Awesome, Millie Comics. Glad you subscribed to Rob's channel. Jocelyn Carter, what's going on, Jocelyn? I'm almost certain Jocelyn is already subscribed to your channel. I see her everywhere. Run into her. Let's see here. Douglas Jones, good evening to you. Chutzpah Goodfella, love seeing that flamin' banana sticker. That means he's been a channel member here for quite a while. So thank you, Chutzpah Goodfella. I really do appreciate it. Pip Squeaky, did the screen go black for you guys too? No, screen's pretty good still. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully it came back up for you. And Mojo, gently hit the thumbs up. All right, gently hit it because we don't want you destroying any technology. I have not been able to make it live because of work schedules. Just glad you're able to get it in here. And I see that he popped up the flexing book emoji. So glad to see
Nice.
that. Yeah, pull up them guns. Let's see here. Christina Lee just subscribed to the channel. Tania Stephenson, author. Do you recommend book launches if you're just releasing ebook formats? What do you think, Rob?
Yep, definitely. I think it's a good idea to, if you can, if it's an option, to launch in all platforms. I mean, you talked about this as well. Having a print edition as well as an audio edition, if possible, can be very helpful. Gives that additional level of prestige. But if you are just have an ebook edition for whatever reason, yeah, by all means, definitely want to maximize that impact. The other thing I didn't cover, and I'll mention just briefly, Amazon really prioritizes new releases, and so they weight them, and so when you can get a little bit of excitement and buzz around that new release, you have that little extra boost from Amazon, because they're trying to determine if this is going to be a high performer. And so definitely, if there's an opportunity to use some of these launch tactics, then for ebook only, by all means do it.
Hey, did you read that in my latest book, Amazon Keywords for Books?
Maybe.
You probably knew that before the book.
No, but lots of great information in that. Yep.
All right, so congrats on the launch. Thank you very much, Chutzpah Goodfella. I appreciate that. I'm scrolling down here, so folks, let me know. Does anybody want an autographed copy? Let me know. So Nairi Squire says she just subscribed. The cover design I worry about. You shouldn't be worried about the cover design. I know you got to see the cover, because I know later on you mentioned that. So at any rate, Chutzpah Goodfellow asks this: does Archangel Ink work with fiction authors? I know the answer to this one.
Yes, we do. We do work with fiction authors. I would say most of the projects that we do are kind of in the nonfiction genre, but yes, we'll definitely work with fiction. Something you mentioned before, Dale, we want to make sure it's a good fit. So we do offer a free consultation. We do offer an assessment of a finished manuscript, no cost, sample edit, and then we can talk a little bit about what your needs are, and then see if we're going to be able to step in and plug in and help. There have been instances where we're just not confident that we're going to be able to do as great of a job as we would like to, and we'll let people know, hey, no hard feelings, but we may not be the best fit for you. But, again, we're always going to be honest and transparent. And if we are confident that we can do a great job, then we're very happy to help.
Nice. Nairi asks this: how do you find your illustrators for the covers?
We work with a single designer, and she's based out in England, and we've been with her for several years now. With Scouring, we worked with someone previously, and he was moving on to different projects. So we really trust her with the creative process, and she does a really excellent job. We have a cover design checklist that we offer. Ask a series of questions, which kind of give us a sense of where you're going to be competing. We want the book to look like it belongs with other top performers in your genre. And any certain elements of the cover that you want on there, but beyond that, we really kind of let it go. And she's very intuitive. She does a really good sense of, hey, based on what you've described, like, this is kind of what you're going for. And sometimes you're like, whoa, I wasn't even picturing that, but that's great. I love it, And so she does all of the cover design work for us, and we've been very happy with her.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, I really was blown away. I knew what I was expecting, because I followed you guys long enough on social media, and I see you, showing some of the covers, and I was like, man, that's really good stuff. Now, not to be confused, folks, they didn't do the cover of Amazon Keywords for Books, but they've got the one that's going to be coming out for the Perma-Free book, and I'll be announcing something about that on the channel. But not to be mistaken, they did do the robust interior, the very nice interior. I really love. Hang on a second. And by the way, I just got an editorial review, and they remarked about how they love the chapter headers. They just love how that is. So, yeah, that's inside the print version only. It's not inside the ebook. So, B says, "What's up, B? How's it great? How's it great? How are you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you very much." April Thomas, congratulations, Dale. Thank you very much, April. I appreciate that. I'm going to slip into lurking mode. Katrina, that sounds awesome. Melanie says, congratulations. Thank you so much. Cole Adams, if you had finished book edited, formatted with a great cover, but no pre-reviews and $100, how would you focus the next month to prepare the best launch? Ooh.
That's a good question. if you have, usually we take about a month to work on the advanced review element. So if you have a little bit of time, in addition to a little bit of funds, then that could be a good opportunity. There are still some promotions if you're looking to do like a 99-cent launch, promotional sites that can work. Book Doggy is one of them, and BookBooks is another that we still use for many of our clients. But you can look into some of those if you're looking for paid advertising and paid promotion on that front. And then I would also look into Amazon advertising. Again, start low and slow. If you know your way around it, it can be very helpful. You don't have to invest a ton, but if you're using that money, or if you have that little bit of money set aside, that can be a good way to capitalize on it. Because especially when you're advertising on Amazon, there are buyers there. It's a buyer's market. It's not like trying to advertise on Facebook or elsewhere where maybe people are just looking for information or engagement. On Amazon, they're there to buy. So if you can kind of speak to them, then that might be a good way to use that money.
Excellent. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And find a good email service provider if you can. If you got about $100, that'll more than take care of things. And a site like Story Origin, by the way, 100% free still, which Evan is, I think, certifiably insane. But Evan's the one who's in charge of Story Origin, and not me. But in any event, you can go set up for doing some building an ARC team there. I was able to collect, I think, 64 ARC readers over the past couple of weeks. Really happy with that. And it didn't cost me a dime to do that. All I did was just say something in the videos, say something through social media, through emails, and it brought them on in there. So think about that. And there's also the newsletter swap elements there that you can work with other people. And by the way, don't let this throw you off. If for some reason you see someone with a large email newsletter and you're like, oh, but I only have 12 or I only have 60. The nice thing is sometimes other authors don't care about the size of your list. They just want to know that you're putting the effort out and they can actually reach another email newsletter of other people and sell more books. So don't ever let that stop you. So Cole Adams, good luck on your book launch. $100 is going to be more than sufficient to get a really good launch, especially if you already got it edited, formatted, and a good book cover on that thing on there. So, all righty. It just skipped forward on me here. Boring story things. What's going on? And I realized I just asked 2 questions. I just missed your questions. Unfortunately, just blazed past. Only $100. That gives me hope. Thank you for that question. Nice. Mickey Casons, what's going on? How you doing? And Monera, how are you? Hey, Dale, I love the interior of the printed book. There you go, buddy. Rob, you need to bask in the adulation.
I love it.
Oh, April asks a great question here. And by the way, we're going on the hour right now. Are you okay if we go just a little bit beyond?
We can go just a little bit beyond, absolutely.
Okay, so do you guys help with relaunching books?
Yeah, we've done a little bit of relaunch help. So oftentimes that's going to involve a new cover design. If the cover, when we do an assessment, we'll kind of see where things are at. And cover is often the easiest and simplest first thing to fix. Everything else may be in place, but if you have a cover that isn't quite resonating with your audience, and then you switch over to one that does, that could be enough to help with relaunch. But I would say, again, we offer a free 30-minute consultation. If you're interested in reaching out to us, check our website. We have a contact form. Let us know a little bit about what you're doing. But yes, we're happy to help. And if we're confident that we can do a good job and help you find your audience a little bit better, happy to do that.
Nairi asks a question. It seems like the perfect opportunity for us to kind of circle back to this. How long does the whole process typically take with an author?
Yeah, great question. So for a full service production, that is, you have a finished manuscript already and you're looking to get it to market. Usually we budget about 12 to 16 weeks. As Dale mentioned, sometimes we have projects in queue. Typically, knock on wood, we're fortunate we've got projects in queue on a usual basis. And so we'll let you know at the time that we're getting ready to sign an agreement what our projected turntable is. Things can shift a little bit, that how quickly you get back editorial reviews to us and engage in different aspects of your end of the work will shift, how quickly we're able to produce those finished files. But whole process, roughly 12 to 16 weeks. And then usually about another month or so if we're going to do that launch element and try and dial things in after that.
Awesome. Good stuff. And by the way, folks, nothing good should ever be rushed. I know sometimes we're so excited to get our book out into the world, and maybe we have this preconceived notion that, I want to launch it on my birthday, or, I want to launch it on X date. You got to temper your expectations with reality. Every now and then, you got to kind of be prepared to possibly push things forward. It's better to take your time and err on the side of caution than try to rush Archangel Ink, or go up to them and be like, I've only got 2 weeks to get things done. Rob's going to look at you and go, I don't think we're the people for you. I see there's some people interested in this signed copy, by the way. So folks, if you're still interested, do me a huge favor. Share this via social media. Tag me at Self-Pub with Dale on every one of the platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also tag Archangel Ink. And I think you guys are Archangel Ink Pub on Twitter, right?
Yes, correct.
Fantastic. So make sure you guys tag them on over there if you are very interested in it. And I'm going to just tell you guys in just a second. I want to make sure I'm getting all of these questions first before we do pick a winner. Terry B says this. Oh, by the way, first of all, Cost 137 said, Eric here. Love this. Rock on, Rob. You and Christy Lynn are the best.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, Christy is my right hand, wonderful coordinator, and really shepherds in the projects for each of our clients, and is the person to ask all of those questions that you have. So thank you for the great feedback.
Excellent. So Terry B says, explain the difference between launching and marketing a series versus a single book. Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I would say in terms of some of the mechanics, they're probably going to be similar, but hopefully if you've launched the second and third and so forth in that series, you've taken some of these recommendations, built your email list and so forth. So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier because you'll have a group of people who are already pre-qualified, who know and trust you, and who are interested or going to be interested in those new books. The other thing too, when you have multiple titles out on Amazon or anywhere, often people will say that the best marketing for your existing books is your next book. And so, having somewhere else that people can go to engage with you a little bit further. Maybe they find your newest book and you're like, well, this Dale is awesome. I want to know more about. What else are you writing about, Dale? And so they'll search your Amazon author page, which hopefully you've set up, and they'll see all those other titles and they say, oh my gosh, Dale's covers look awesome. His descriptions look awesome. I don't even know which one to start with next. Let me take that one. And so when you're launching in series, then you're capitalizing on some of the investment that you've put into the first book in series.
Awesome, good stuff. All right, boring story things. WC writes, she's actually a friend here of the channel. I have a question. I'm trying to become a full-time author and know that selling books on my website is a good practice, but is it better for you to have it available on your site or just redirect them to a service like PayHip or Amazon?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, part of it is going to have to do with your tolerance for technical issues, technological, just delivery and troubleshooting and problem solving and that sort of thing. One of the nice elements of Amazon, as well as other platforms like that, is Gumroad is another one that many authors use effectively.
Oh, yeah.
Is that you're going to they'll handle some of that delivery. If people say, hey, I don't know how to open an EPUB, and they don't have to email you necessarily, they can contact the distributor.
Yeah.
If you have it on your own site, you're able to retain more of your proceeds theoretically. I mean, Gumroad's percentage is relatively low compared to Amazon, but probably not as low as if you're just delivering it on your own. But you also have to drive traffic over to your site. So if you don't have a lot of traffic right now, it can be really helpful to have a marketplace where people are already congregating. So those are a couple of the considerations. The other thing I would say is if you want to be mindful of the price point that you're interested in selling at and what that particular marketplace tolerates. So Gumroad, for example, it's not uncommon to see a PDF sell for $37 or $67. If you try and post that on Amazon, probably not.
Amazon's going to get out of here with that.
Yeah, they're not really going to get behind it. On your own website, you can certainly price it higher as well. But again, it kind of is helpful when you're on some of those other marketplaces, seeing other books being priced at comparable levels. It lets people know, hey, I guess that's just kind of what the going rate is here. Whereas if you're selling it on your own site, they might say, hey, I've never heard of that Rob guy. I'm not going to spend $37 on his PDF. So yeah, those are a couple of things I would think about.
Yeah, and this is kind of credit to what you're kind of saying here, and especially when it comes to Gumroad. A friend of the channel, Ashley Christ, she had approached me and said, okay, she wanted to learn a bit about Amazon and such, and she's like, hey, should I go there? And when I told her it was like 70%, but she had to keep her price point between $299 and $999, she's like, what if I go higher? I'm like, you get a lower percentage. She's like, well, that's stupid. So she essentially went over to Gumroad and she was able to price her ebook. I think she had actually did an opening price for like $20 and ended up moving it up to like, I think $27 or $30. And she sold 5 figures in the very first month alone.
Awesome.
And she was able to profit far more. So, but thankfully she had an audience and she built the hype and she did a lot of what we were discussing with the pre-launch and such. Irina asks this, can you please tell a couple words about launching low content and no content books?
Yeah, that's interesting. I would say we haven't done a whole lot of that, but I would imagine that it's going to be helpful to be engaged in the communities where you're producing that sort of low and no content project. So, for example, if you're putting together a low content book that's based on, some sort of fantasy element, or, some sort of flowery artistic element or something, there may be existing social media groups and communities that kind of are interested in that material. So kind of sharing that and getting involved, that could be helpful. But yeah, I would say most of what we do is content rich material, and so that's tougher. Yeah, that's a tougher nut to crack, I would say. Dale, do you have any thoughts on that?
You've pretty much nailed it. It's no content and low content is going to be a little bit tough because a lot of the appeal of no content, low content is going. And I'm just going to, for the sake of the brevity here, we're just going to say no content books. A lot of the appeal comes the fact that you can get more volume out, and you're putting a lot less risk. But you can't weigh the type of success or compare it to, say, nonfiction or fiction books. The launch strategy, you can do the same thing on no content, low content, but here's the thing. You're taking much more risk. You're dealing with a different audience. And it's so funny. I get a lot of people that will comment on the channel, and I typically, when they get rude, I kick them off. They're like, why would anybody ever do no content books? It's a different audience. It's a different subset. Trying to compare no content books to fiction and nonfiction is like trying to compare a window to a door. They both have functions in a house, but they're completely different. But the same process of a launch sequence could work in your favor on a no content book, but you're not going to find many people doing that because there's too much risk involved. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's a really key point that you mentioned. The appeal for many people of the no content books is that you get to market test lots of different things. It's really just setting up the initial design and template and then putting it out there and seeing what people respond to. Whereas with a content rich book, you have a specific audience and a specific set of information that you're trying to get out there, and you're not necessarily going to invest several $1,000s in something and then just hope that the audience responds to it versus investing a couple of hours in creating a new template for your no content book. The calculation is a good bit different.
And something that I always try to differentiate between no content and low content, by the way, folks, is no content typically is going to be absolute blank stuff, line journals, diaries. But when you're dealing with, say, like workbooks, writing prompts, things like that, I'm looking at low content where there's some substance within those pages. And I think that you're going to have a better chance of success in the business, especially now that it's such a crowded market, in the low content sphere, if you can be the face of the brand, if you can be the person that will share your stuff, share that workbook, that planner that you're putting together, because then people are going to get behind you, kind of like what they do for an author. So yeah, just be the brand. Tania, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I see you there. Thank you very much. Finding Joe, what's going on? Hey, we've got one more question here. And if anybody else has any other questions, we'll go ahead, load them on up, because the very first thing I'm going to do is, hey, guess a number. We're going to guess a number between 1 and 100. By the way, I already have this contest over on my stories. So if you folks are not following me on mobile, you're missing out on the stories. I have this contest going on right now. But Rob, I'm going to get you right now. Get a piece of paper. Get a pen. Pull it on out. And I'm going to get you to write down a number between 1 and 100. All right, folks. So now's your opportunity. If you want to get an autographed copy shipped to you from me personally, I don't care where you're at in the world, although it'll probably really hurt if for some reason you're out in Madagascar, but that's okay. I'll be all right. It's all about us trying to serve you guys here. So, someone's already guessing. A number between 1 and 100. Rob, go ahead and write it on down, and you got it written down?
Yes.
Perfect. So everybody start loading it on up. And the way it's going to work is it's going to be the first person I see. All right. So if for some reason you're like, I answered first, sorry, it's going to be the first person I see on here. And I've got the live chat kind of pulled up here. You guys go ahead, keep loading them up. You can guess as many times as you would like. So in any event, all right. So Rob, Ann Monera asks a question. Do you guys ever work with anybody with coloring books at all?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have done some children's books. I don't know that we've done any coloring books. I would have to go back and check our archives. But if that is something you're interested in learning more about, or even just getting pointed in some hopefully helpful directions, again, reach out to us. Free consultation. We're happy to chat, take a look, offer an assessment, and see if there's anything that we can do that might be helpful to you.
Awesome. Very, very good. Love a lot of this stuff. Is there anything last thing that you would like to share here with the audience?
Yeah, I would just say that thank you guys for watching. Congratulations to you, Dale, on the launch of this book. Thank you for the invitation to be a part of it. And if you are interested in putting together a book, or if you put together a book and you're just kind of trying to figure your way out around the process, either looking to outsource or looking to get direction, definitely reach out to us. I know that our offerings are not in budget for a lot of people, especially starting out. If it's kind of a test the waters thing, but we have a lot of free resources on our website that we encourage you to check out. We have those monthly, or rather weekly, live streams. So we want to create value for people, even again if they have more sweat equity to invest than capital. So if you're interested in learning more about it, definitely feel free to check out our website, check out our YouTube channel, and reach out to us. We can give you some specific feedback and guidance, even if you're not interested or able to work with us at this time.
The chat's blowing up, man. And oh, by the way, this will be for replay people. So if you've gotten this far in the replay, go ahead and what you're going to do is I will probably do something a little different. So what I'm going to do is I'll randomize the people that actually comment over the next week. So we'll actually have a one for replay people, because I know not everybody's able to kind of make it in here. So make sure that you comment any kind of takeaways that you got from this particular thing. And if you didn't get any takeaways, make something up. Put a couple banana stickers and such. Put some kind of comment with some substance, hopefully. All right, Rob, are you able to see the chat at all? I didn't even think about the logistics on this.
No, I cannot see the chat.
Do you have your phone near you at all?
I could. Yep, I can
text it to me.
Okay. Text you the number?
Text me the number, yes.
Okay, you got it.
Because I want to make sure because we got a lot of numbers here. And,
oh wow. Okay, nice. Yep. Send in your way, and I have it written down in case we need to, verify visually. Yep,
we'll get that. All right,
yep.
So okay, let me go ahead and scroll through. I don't think I saw that number at all. Oh, Mickey Kasins, you came so close at one point, buddy. So close. Let's see here. I'm scrolling up. Tony Williams came really close, dangerously close. Let's see here. Oh, Mickey Kasins, you keep coming so close to it. It's so nicely close there. Nicely close. That makes sense, Dale. Come on. Learn how to talk. Sally the Stalker coming really close there. I love how some people are lurking about and now they're ready to go ahead and play. Oh, man. I don't see anything just yet here, buddy.
All right.
This is so much fun here.
Yeah. Keep guessing, friends.
Keeping it coming. Here we go. Mickey, you keep getting so close here. My gosh. Dangerous. Everybody's going to be looking at Mickey Kasins' numbers at this point. They're going to be like, oh my gosh. Mojo's putting cartwheels in it. Mojo, cartwheels is not the number. Oh my gosh. Oh man, this is so close here. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Hopefully everybody's really. Someone said 105. You're a little bit over. We're looking between 1 and 100. Jocelyn, you are dangerously close. Dangerously close. Jocelyn said 80. Just to kind of let you know.
Okay.
She's coming closer. Mickey Kasins even closer yet. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Man, they're firing. I love this. YouTube's probably... Oh, and time. Terry B, 82. Sorry, April Thomas, I see you got 82 right below her here. I'm going to have to give this one to Terry B. Terry B, I need you to do me a favor. You're going to get a hold of me by email, all right, at dale@selfpublishingwithdale.com. And I'm going to go ahead and personalize this. I want you to kind of tell me what you would like me to go ahead and autograph on in there. So you actually get one of the very first books on my pile here, and I will be sending that out. I anticipate I should probably be doing that either post office run the day or the day after tomorrow. Everybody's just lighting it up. We're going for the... So Rob, go ahead and show visual proof that it was 82. Yep, so 82 was the number. Man, that was fun, dude. I almost feel like we should go again or something.
I know. Yeah.
888 Mickey Kason's puts in there. Overachiever.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Alrighty, fantastic, Rob. You have been an awesome guest, 4-time guest here of this channel. I do appreciate you taking a little bit of time out your day, and hold on to that, because right now I'm going to send everybody over to this very next video where I talk to Rob a little bit more about the self-publishing business. Actually, he kind of caught me red-handed in the middle of some stuff. It was kind of a wacky situation. You won't know what I'm talking about until you actually go into this very next video. I will see you there. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks. Talk to you later.